Welcome to the Squared Circle, the UK's, well, it used to be called the UK's #1 pro wrestling radio show. Don't call it that anymore because we're not a radio show, and we took a break. There you go. Bit of a weird way to start it. My name's Andy Evans, coming to you from Weymouth here in the UK, and coming up on this bite-sized edition of the Squared Circle, we're going to be looking back to last night's Impact Wrestling Slammiversary, which took place on pay-per-view and on Fight TV. But before we do that, if you would like to contact us and let us know what you think about Impact Slammiversary, then you can do. The contact details are on the right. You can Facebook us at Retro Chat Podcast, tweet us at Retro Chat Pod, or you could do the old-fashioned mail, retrochatpodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget to click and like and subscribe to the channel and to the bell for the latest notifications on when new videos are coming out. So as we said, last night was Slammiversary, taking place on pay-per-view. 20 years since Impact or TNA Wrestling first launched. Obviously a lot of emotion going into this one because it was such a historic event. It took place in Nashville at the home of Impact, the home of TNA, and we're not going to be covering all of the card. We're going to be looking at some of the key matches, some of the key moments that took place throughout that event. And we're going to kick it off with this one. It was the Queen of the Mountain match for the Knockouts Impact Championship. Now, first time ever on TNA or on Impact that the Queen of the Mountain was being contested, and it wasn't King of the Mountain, which of course was known for Jeff Jarrett. Now, they had to make it slightly different, so they brought in a special guest enforcer, and that, of course, was former TNA Knockout Champion, a guaranteed Hall of Famer, a legend, the icon, Mickie James. This one really did have everything that you could imagine. It featured 5 of the greatest Impact knockouts, both of this generation and previously. Deonna Purrazzo, synonymous with the Knockouts division. Chelsea Green, of course, has been on fire since she was released from the WWE, and of course her and Matt Cardona really taking over the independent wrestling scene by storm. Tasha Steelz is the reigning Impact Knockouts champion. She was going in defending it after defeating Mickie James for the strap. Then you got Jordynne Grace, a former Impact Knockouts champion herself, also the former digital media champion. She has been one of the standout knockouts throughout the last few years in Impact Wrestling, and I am really surprised that she's not been picked up by either the WWE or AEW. And then last but not least is Mia Yim, recently released from the WWE. This match really had everything you could possibly want. It had action. It wasn't stopping for anybody. There is a great moment where Mia Yim climbs onto the cage, onto the penalty box. Chelsea Green is standing in front of the ladder. She drop kicks Chelsea spine first into the back of the ladder. It is just hardcore, to say the least, man. But it's a fantastic... Man? Why did I just do that, man? But it's a fantastic event and a really, really good match. And they positioned it so well in the card because we'd already had some major matches like Ultimate X and the 10-man, which we're going to touch on in a minute. This was positioned really nicely. Jordynne Grace got the win by taking out Tasha Steelz. She went back to the penalty box. Jordynne Grace was the last wrestler eligible. She climbed the ladder and put the belt up. Now, if you don't know the rules for the Queen of the Mountain or a King of the Mountain match, you might be asking what they are. Well, all wrestlers start off ineligible. They then have to become eligible by either making an opponent pin or submit. That opponent will then go in the penalty box for 2 minutes. Once a wrestler is eligible, they will remain eligible for the entire match. So the first person to be made eligible was Chelsea Green. Then it was Mia Yim. Then Deonna Purrazzo. Then there was a bit of controversy over this one because Jordynne Grace went for the pinfall on Mia Yim. And then Tasha Steelz kind of wrapped her up as well, and there was a double count. The referee, I believe, signaled that they were both eligible, but Matthew Reinhold from commentary was saying that Grace hadn't become eligible. She then quickly pinned Tasha Steelz, became eligible, climbed the ladder, and put the belt up on the strap, because that's how you win Queen or King of the Mountain. You put the title and you wrap it around the brace. You don't take it like you would do in a... It's complicated, but it was a great match. Next up was the Battle of the 10 Men. It's been a feud that's been brewing for months on Impact Wrestling. In fact, it was brewing since the closure of Ring of Honor, and that is an Honor No More, led by Maria Kanellis. You can see the team there, including PCO and Eddie Edwards, facing off against Impact Originals. This could be from Impact's current roster. It could be anyone from the past. Now, this past week on Impact, they announced that the National Treasure, Nick Aldis, formerly a TNA World Champion, was joining the lineup. And then this lady made her return to Impact, Dixie Carter, former president of TNA, and announced that Davey Richards was going to become the final member of Impact Originals team, and therefore would compete in the 10-man match. This really was a showcase of classic Impact. Why do I say that? Because we had appearances from D'Lo Brown doing the Skylo. We had Scott D'Amore coming out as the coach of Team Canada. We had Earl Hebner doing the count. I mean, it was just tremendous to watch it. It was a mess. There's no doubt about it. 10 people in the ring. It's going to be a bit of a cluster. It was a bit overbooked in places, but it was enjoyable nonetheless. All 5 of the Impact Originals gave it their all, and all 5 of Honor No More did exactly the same thing. At the end of the day, it was Davey Richards getting the pin over Eddie Edwards to win the match. Cracking contest, and again, lovely placing of this one in the card. The other thing that we liked about it was the fact that Christy Hemme returned as the ring announcer. It was just old school TNA having this one. Now, the main event was this, and it was Josh Alexander facing off against the leader of Violent by Design, Eric Young, for the Impact World Championship. It was the main event. This feud had been brewing for quite a while, going back to Turning Point and Rebellion and some of the previous events leading up to Slammiversary. It was a knockdown drag out. It was brutal. Josh Alexander retained the Impact World Championship over Violent by Design, Eric Young. Cracking match. Again, I mean, the one thing that you've got to say about Slammiversary this year, and there was a lot of matches that we haven't touched on, like the Ultimate X match, which was run by Speedball Mike Bailey, which was a great way to kick it off. The tag team match between the Good Brothers and the Briscoes with AMW coming out. The appearance by AJ Styles, by Sting, by Kurt Angle, sending their congrats. Goldilocks, the original broadcaster, the interviewer for Impact, appearing on screen. Christy Hemme, the tribute to Don West and Mike Tenay. This was a feel-good Impact event. It was beautifully presented by the crowd. It's not got all the glitz and glamour of the WWE or AEW, and I don't think it needs that, because it's kept its independent feel, if you will, more now than ever. The crowd were hot. They enjoyed it. The action was brilliant. Each of the performers that went out there in all of the matches really gave it their all. Tom Hannafan and Matthew Rayhold were amazing on commentary. There was nothing not to like about this pay-per-view. So it is available right now on Fight TV. You can go and purchase the replay, watch it again. Impact 20, looking forward to seeing what they do next. Bound for Glory is coming up soon. We'll be back in a sec.
Hey, this is Olympic gold medalist and TNA World Heavyweight Champion Kurt Angle, and you're listening to The Squared Circle. Oh, it's real. It's damn real, and you better be listening, or I'll break your freaking ankle.
So there we go. Slammiversary happened. Ready for the next event at Bound for Glory in October. You know, I've not really been watching Impact for quite a while, because there was so much wrestling to kind of keep up with in respect of AEW and WWE and GCW, and if you kind of want to watch some of the other independent stuff that's going on, and not even counting New Japan. But the one thing this card showed me, this event showed me, was the fact that you really need to give Impact a chance. Impact is on one of the best trajectories that I've seen in recent memory. Great production, like I said earlier on. Great in-ring performances by people that you don't know. There's a lot of performers on there that I've not seen before because I haven't watched Impact. I went into it really open, really fresh, and I really did enjoy it. Alright, that's it for this quick Squared Circle only on YouTube and on the podcast. We're going to be back later this week with another episode of the Squared Circle. We're not going to tell you what it's about. You have to keep your eyes on the YouTube channel. And we'll also be back on podcast and on YouTube with Retro Chat talking all about the Silverhawks. But until then, my name is Andy Evans. I will see you very soon. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.